Welcome back to Standcrafted. Today I'd like to show you how I helped my niece take her growing pet collection from this to this. As always, if you enjoy my video, please hit the like button and don't forget to subscribe. This project started with a sketch my niece did of the piece that she wanted, that I turned into a cut list. This is my shout out to Pask Makes, link in the description below. Awesome channel. Once all of the pieces were rough cut to size, I was off to the dado table to make rabbits. Next up was laying out the dados. This was a little trickier than normal because the left side and the right side of the cabinet had shelves that were at different heights. For a long time, I've cut dados by taking a pass and then slowly nibbling away the wood until I've got the piece to fit just right, using a scrap piece to check the dado for width as I go. As you can see, it's a long and somewhat tedious process. Now I use a trick that I learned from Sean Boyd at Sean Boyd Made This. It makes cutting dados so much faster and easier. I'll leave a link in the description below to Sean's video on how to do this. Thanks, Sean. With all of the dados cut, I trimmed the top and the bottom to final width. Next up was to trim the center support to its final length. I did this after cutting the dados to make sure that all of the dados lined up. Now it's time to cut the shelves. If you've ever sat in math class wondering, when am I ever going to need to know this stuff? Here's your answer. Welcome to fractions. with all of the shelves cut to length. I cut each piece to its final width. It's always a good idea before you do a glue up to do a dry fit just to make sure that all of the pieces are going to fit the way you want them to. With everything looking good, I used glue and pin nails to put together the case. The simplest way to make sure that a large piece is square is to measure the diagonals. If they're the same, you're good to go. Now it's time to install some sliding shelves to make it easier to access the aquariums. The final shelves for this piece need to have screen material so that the light and heat can show through. With the shelving complete, I cut some trim pieces to cover the edge of the plywood. The next step was to measure the bottom right-hand corner of the cabinet for a pair of doors. Because this really was a labor of love, I chose to install some heart-shaped recesses instead of door pulls. I really like the way they turned out. With the case complete, all I had left to do was to tack on the back and then drill a couple of holes to allow access for the cords to the lights. I'm really pleased with the way this piece turned out, and I hope that my niece and her animals are happy too. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like and subscribe, and also help me out by sharing it with people that you think might enjoy it as well. See you next time.